Do you wake up every morning too, asking yourself,
how rich am I really?
Maybe then it's just me. But if you ever wondered how rich Germans are, statistically, and where you fit into the picture, we got the answer for you in this video. Because there were two really good studies released in 2022 and the Wealth Survey from the German Bundesbank in 2023. With these two studies, we can answer two questions that are important for you. Where do you fit in the wealth ranking? And what can you do right now to climb the wealth ranking? Because you can learn a lot from the people that are richer than you. Ready? Let's go. In order to be at the top 95% of the population, or the bottom 5 if you will, you need to have a total wealth of 700 euro according to the Bundesbank and a gross salary of 11,800 euros a year. The Bundesbank actually merged the income of the bottom 20%, so it includes the top 90% with 3,000 euro wealth and the top 80% with 10,900 euro total wealth. If you are in this category, you are statistically very young, in your teens or your 20s, and or you have a lower level education or no school degree at all. What's important for you here? What should you learn from this video? Please accept your limits. Depending on how old you are and how much effort you're willing to put into climbing the wealth ladder, you will most likely not become a billionaire. And that is okay. Accept it. I like to go to the gym occasionally, work out a little bit, but never ever in my lifetime will I climb on top of the ladder and become Ronnie Coleman level. That's just not gonna happen. But that doesn't stop me from working out and improving my health. So continue working on improving your financial future, just don't do anything stupid. People higher on the ladder who are statistically a lot older and have seen more things in life, they will know that these get-rich-quick schemes, they never work. So they're not so vulnerable to these online gurus as young people are, or poorer people who try to jump the ladder as fast as they can by gaming the system. Next category, the top 70% with a total wealth of 22,900 euro and the top 60 with 52,300 euro. Both having a gross salary of 32,700 euro. Congrats to everyone in this category, because you're in the top 1% of income worldwide. Not quite the top 1% of Germany, but hey, it's all a matter of perspective, right? And now that we approach the middle, from the bottom 50% to the top 50%, we can bring in the second study from Albers, Bartels, and the other guy that I don't want to butcher the name of. Schularik, maybe. Because they look mostly at the top 10% and above, where the Bundesbank stops already. So it's nice that we have two studies, and it's also nice that they agree with the numbers. Bundesbank finds the top 50% to have a total wealth of 121,900 euro, and Albers and Pierce gives a range of 113 to 132,000. These are people with a gross salary of 93,300 euro, as are the richest 40% with almost double the wealth of 221,300 euro. When comparing the 50% group with the other groups below, we can see that the income is 8 to almost 3 times as high. This allows the 50% group to save a lot more money than the other groups, of course. Albers and Pierce show that in this chart, comparing the savings rate from different wealth groups in different countries. The bottom 50% here in Germany save virtually zero. The bar is right at the line. And I understand, because how are you supposed to save money with an income of 11,800 euro? But still better than the US bottom 50% that spend more money than they earn. Credit card debt for the win. The top 50% have a savings rate of 10% here in Germany, which will give them over time a bigger and bigger edge over the bottom 50%, right? If one person saves zero from 11,800 euro income, and another person 10% of 93,300 euro income, the wealth gap between the two will increase and increase. So, what do we learn from this? For everyone in the middle or below the middle, increasing your income should be your priority number one, especially since you're statistically still very young. There's almost nobody in the top 1% that is in their 30s or 40s, other than people who inherited money maybe. In that case, congrats to them. But other than that, young people are statistically poorer than old people. So increase your income as much as you can, because in the top 10%, Albers and Pierce find that the savings rate goes up to 35%. But before coming to the top 10%, let's talk about the top 30% with a total wealth of 333,700 euro and the top 20% with a total wealth of almost $500,000. Both groups having an income of 242,100 euro according to the Bundesbank. In this category, we can start seeing already what the people own statistically in assets. And not surprisingly, it's what we tell you to invest in for years now. We have a little bit of financial assets, stocks, bonds, ETFs, and so on, and right around 75% of their portfolio is real estate. So right after this video, you can watch a lot of our other videos showing you how to invest in ETFs, in brokerage accounts, or in private pensions, which would be a lot more tax efficient than the standard ETF savings plan. And we have a lot of videos about real estate investing as well. Or you book a free meeting with us, and then we can have a chat in person and see what is best for you and your personal financial situation. What is most important for that group? What do I want you to learn from this video? If you bring home €250,000, this is where you start to feel rich, right? You don't care about prices in the grocery store anymore. You get a bigger flat, buy nice clothes, have a vacation here and there, buy the car you always wanted. And sooner or later, your lifestyle is so tremendously costly and your savings rate goes close to zero again. Or why do you think that 78% of NFL players go broke just 2 years after retiring? And keep in mind that these are people with an average salary of $860,000, 3.5 times as much as our top 20 to 30% category. Now let's take a look at the top 10% with a total wealth of 788 to 946,000 euro, the Bundesbank being right in line with that, and a salary of 393,400 euro, almost half an NFL player if you think about it that way. At this point, and let's put in the top 5% with 1.2 to 1.5 million euro total wealth in that too, your thinking about money should shift a little bit. The German Economic Institute finds that the German millionaire is statistically in their 50s or 60s, very close but not yet retired, and self-employed. At this stage in life, with only a couple of more years left to work and $1 million in assets, managing your wealth becomes more important than focusing on your income. If you are in your 20s or 30s and spend hours and hours managing your little 100 euro ETF savings plan, that's the wrong focus, my friend. The statistic is right here on screen, merged from 2 different studies and a lot of other credible sources. But once you have $1 million in assets and manage to get just 1% more return by putting in the work, you just made 10,000 euro right there. This is where the bottom 20% have to work for almost an entire year. I hope you can see where I'm going with this. There's different stages in life. First, it's about earning the wealth while you're young, and later on, it's about managing your wealth. But when there's no wealth yet, there's nothing to manage. So focus on increasing your income first. Now we come to the big boys and girls with the top 1% in Germany with a total wealth of 3 to 4 million from Albers and Pierce. Bundesbank doesn't differentiate above the top 5% anymore. That's also why the income is the same for the top groups at 635,800 euro. But to be honest, the income doesn't matter that much here anyway, because there's mainly 2 types of people: self-employed that own a really valuable company, and real estate investors with a big portfolio. So their salary doesn't matter that much anymore. Getting tax benefits for millions in real estate, it's much more attractive. And that's why rich people buy rental properties instead of buying homes for themselves. If you're rich, you can probably afford a home, but certainly not if you're in the financial situation as the couple that we discussed in last week's video. And lastly, the richest 0.01% in Germany. And before I reveal this number, really think deeply if you want to be in this group. Why? Because your life will change drastically once the entire world knows that you're rich. Susanne Klatten, the richest woman in Germany, got blackmailed, threatened, had security 24/7. Not a pleasant life and not worth the money, in my opinion. But you do you. And if you want to be in the richest 0.01% in Germany, you just need a casual 88 to 90 million euro. I hope you learned something in this video, and I hope you can climb the wealth ladder if that's what you really want to do in life. See you in the next video.